Welcome to the Breakthrough and Bloom podcast. My name is Kelsey Marks, and I am your host and your Breakthrough BFF. My mission in the world is to help women who are interested in spirituality really, truly understand who they are at the core of their being, guiding them through the process of healing themselves and really honing into what it means to be human. I intend to be an open channel to allow insights to flow in that help you break through to the next level of who you were always meant to be. With these conversations, we're going to shift some perspectives, okay? And we're going to give you a new way to live the life that you live, allowing the opportunity to truly manifest what it is that you desire. So if you're looking to break through to the next level of who you are, to live the life of your dreams, and to gain a deeper understanding of spiritual topics, well, you have come to the right place. And I know we're going to have so much fun together, and I am beyond excited to have these conversations with you. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Hello, friends. How are you doing? How has your week been? I am so glad to have you back and to be continuing these conversations. And today we're going to be talking about something that I actually had to move through recently. And this episode is basically the insight that I got once I took the time to do what I needed to do. So first and foremost, let's just take a quick second to get ourselves in a calm and comfortable state of being, okay? Again, if you are driving, please keep those beautiful eyeballs open and on the road. But if you're not and you're able to take a moment to relax, go ahead, close your eyes, and just take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Beautiful. And today we'll keep it nice and short with just some simple breathing and some affirmations. So take a nice deep belly breath in, filling the belly first and then the chest. And exhale out of the mouth or the nose, whatever feels right for you today. And on your next inhale, think of the words clear and free. And on the exhale, think release. So inhale, clear and free, and exhale, release. Good. Let's do it again. So inhale, clear and free, and exhale, release. So keep taking some nice deep breaths in and just focus on the sound of your breath. Remember that your breath is grounding. No matter how crazy the outside world may get, your breath is always there. It's a steady constant for you, and it's always anchoring you in your reality. It's keeping you here, it's keeping you alive, it's keeping you healthy, it's keeping you happy. And with a nice deep breath in, we thank our bodies for all of the amazing work it does for us, day in, day out, without us even realizing. And on your next deep breath in, just focus on feeling gratitude in your chest. And on the exhale, we release anything that our body no longer needs. We're releasing pain, resentment, anger, sadness, jealousy, or even fear. So continue these nice deep breaths. And we thank you, body, for your resiliency. Thank you, body, for your strength. Thank you, body, for your ability to create. Thank you, body, for this experience on earth. Thank you, body, for my breath. Thank you, body, for sustaining my life. Thank you, body, for your beauty. Thank you, breath, for your energy. Thank you, breath, for your power. Thank you, breath, for your grounding energy. Thank you, breath, for bringing in the life force energy. And take one more deep belly breath in, thinking thank you, and exhale, I love you. So that little affirmation work turned into a little gratitude sesh, didn't it? We love it. Love it. It's always good to thank our bodies because it's doing the most for us, right? It's keeping us alive. Sometimes it's just good to just give it some thanks every once in a while. Okay, so now that we took a moment to relax, let's get into the good stuff here, shall we? So the bread and the butter of this episode, which is using discomfort to your advantage. So first, let me share how this episode basically came to be. So without going like super granular here, earlier this week, I had a type of leveling up, a spiritual up level, spiritual experience, whatever you want to call it. And to be honest, it had made me very nervous because it had made my vision get all sorts of like fucked up. It was very weird to experience. It went for like 10 minutes. Anywho, after this experience happened, I kept feeling this like background sense of just like some tension. Like everything people were doing was kind of triggering me, annoying me. And I just felt like in my chest and kind of in my back too, like this subtle tightness. But like nothing that I couldn't ignore and move past and just continue doing my day. So like I did. And I know that's like totally against what I teach, but you know what? I'm human too. And I go through all of the same shit you guys go through. Okay. And just because I teach it and I have the tools and, you know, I know better doesn't mean I'm always doing what I know I should be doing. Every day is a chance for us to choose. And sometimes you don't choose the tools, okay? That's okay. But every day is a chance to choose the tools if, you know, you're in the mood to do it. Okay. And some days, you know, you just say like, fuck it. I don't want to use the tools. I don't feel like doing the work. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you keep saying, fuck it, I'm not doing the work, it's going to come up in a way you would have preferred for it to not have come up. Like getting mad over something super trivial or getting really upset about something that you usually don't really care about. Me? Oh, me? Yeah, that did happen. It was like 3 days of feeling on edge and I knew I needed to like rage dance and shake it out. I knew it was like anger that was coming up. And did I do it? Nope, I didn't. So like for 3 days, I kept thinking like I should really go and just rage dance for like 15 minutes. I should just go and shake it out for 15 minutes. I'm going to feel so much better. And I just didn't do it. And I didn't do it because I was afraid to. I didn't want to dive into it. But guess what? So once I did the rage dancing, it took like all of 15 minutes to clear. And that was it. I had spent 3 days feeling tense, feeling annoyed, feeling on edge, when all it took was 15 minutes of me crying, of me dancing, and me shaking the energy out. And then allowing myself what I needed to say and just acknowledge what I was feeling, even if it didn't make any fucking sense why I was feeling it. And also shout out to my amazing husband, Jordan, who was the most perfect mirror for me and support system during this. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. Because that was a big one to move through. So thank you. So right now in my life, I'm at a point in my shadow work where things come up for me to feel before I actually understand why I'm feeling it, as opposed to like earlier in my journey when I was doing shadow work, it was always like super clear to me as what my trigger was. Like it was very clear as to why I just got upset. I had something in my environment triggered me and I could follow it back and it made sense for me. But now it's like totally different. It's the opposite. And I definitely want to talk about this more in another episode. Maybe the next one I'll go more into shadow work and my experience with it and then my kind of take on it. because I really think shadow work has like 2 levels to it. Anyways, this has been adjustment for me to realize that shadow work is kind of different than what I was used to. It's changing, it's morphing for me because I'm doing a lot of things that are deeper, that aren't, so clear as to maybe why I have a limiting belief about something, because it's not something that's so recent. It's definitely older. It's definitely buried way deeper in the subconscious. And I realize that when this stuff is coming up, when it is deeper, you don't have so much like the external trigger that makes it really easy to see the pattern. It's sometimes like it's just coming up and you feel like shit and you don't really know why you feel like shit. And then, your mind is coming in to be like, you have no reason to feel this way. Like, ignore it. And that's kind of what I did. And I'm here to tell you, if you're at this point in your healing as well, where things are coming up and you don't have a logical explanation as to why things are coming up, just embrace it. Just embrace the fact it's happening and just be like, I don't know why I feel like shit. I just do. And just own it and do what you have to do to move through it. And just be like, I'll figure it out once I just do the work. And I'm telling you, when you do just do the work, the answers like come in simultaneously as you're doing the work. You know exactly why it's happening. You see the pattern. Like if you try to figure it out prior, you might not. So just do the damn things, feel the feels, do the rage dancing, the screaming, the journaling, whatever you need to do, just do it. And this has been really interesting for me to embrace because usually I can pinpoint a trigger. But now it's not that I'm like getting triggered and I can be like, oh, that makes sense. Like, got it. Things are coming up from my subconscious, almost like a little, I don't know. It's like a buried treasure within, and it's coming up and it's mostly related to my past and has nothing to do with what's going on with me now, but things that just need to like get out. And it's more subtle and it like doesn't have a specific environmental cue that makes conscious sense. And anywho, what I'm getting at here is that if I had just leaned into the discomfort instead of like running away from it because I couldn't logically make sense as to why I was feeling that way. Like there was no triggers in my environment, but I was like feeling the tension, feeling the annoyance. Like if I had just leaned into it, I could have learned my lesson so much quicker. I could have saved myself 3 days of just feeling anxious and like on edge. And not that it was like bad, like it wasn't, which is why I wasn't doing the work. But if I had just done it, it would have been 15 minutes instead of 3 days. And just remember, like what's coming up is going. So if something is coming up through you from your subconscious out of your body, it's gonna come up through the body before it like makes sense in the mind. And like if it's coming up, just know like whatever you're feeling, it's going, and let it go instead of like shoving it back down. Like we don't want all this icky yucky shit in our bodies still. Like let it come up, let it go out. And I'm telling you, when you just allow yourself to do it, you're going to speed up your process of not only like healing, but manifesting that's like the 2 big things in life, right? Like healing and manifesting, but just like being happy in your skin, being comfortable with who you are, feeling good every day. It's going to happen so much quicker if you just like let the things go that need to go instead of trying to be like, if it doesn't have a logical reason, I'm not going to feel it. Well, sometimes logic doesn't make any sense when it comes to the subconscious. In fact, most of the time it doesn't, because the subconscious speaks in like metaphors and emotions and things like that. And our higher mind speaks with the logical, words and trying to put things together like that. So using the higher mind to try to figure out what the subconscious is saying is going to cause, a slowdown. It's going to cause some issue. You're speaking different languages. So there's, a ton of different ways that you can like do this release kind of work too. You can do rage dancing and shaking or journaling. You can do the EFT tapping or some breath work, meditating, but basically just get into your body and just let it come out. Just let it come out raw, authentic, up and out. Just don't even care like what you're saying, what you're doing. If you are rage dancing, how you look, like just let it come up and out. And the less like you try to control how it looks or how it sounds or what you're doing, the less you try to control it, the more freeing it's going to be, obviously, because if you're trying to control what's coming up, you're still basically like holding it back, holding it in, holding it down. So the thing about discomfort in situations like this, like obviously not in social settings, that kind of discomfort, but like when you're kind of on edge for a couple days or you're just feeling like constantly annoyed, it's a huge green light for you to level up. I'm telling you, it is like someone waving their arms like crazy, being like, hello, time to level up, time to level up. It's a sign that you're growing. It's a sign that you're changing. So change and discomfort, they go hand in hand, obviously. Think about it. Think about all the times you did something for the first time, like riding a bike. Was it comfortable? Hell no. You cannot tell me as a little kid that you were not anxious about learning how to ride a bike, that you weren't asking the person who was like holding the seat, like, don't let go, don't let go, don't let go. Like, it was uncomfortable to learn how to ride a bike. And you want them to like hold on for forever, who's helping you, or to keep the training wheels on. Like, you're just not ready. You don't feel like you're ready. But when you push through that initial discomfort, I can't do it, I don't know how to do it, I don't trust myself, like that's where the growth lies. That's where you learn to ride the bike. Sure, maybe you fall a couple times while learning, but in the end, you learn how to ride a bike. And riding a bike is like one of those skills that you never forget. You could like not ride a bike for 10 years and hop back on and you would still remember. And, you know, that's all that discomfort is. It's just your subconscious mind trying to keep you safe, because guess what? Your mind cannot predict the outcome of things it hasn't experienced before. So anything new is unpredictable. And if it's unpredictable, it's deemed not safe because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, think back to like caveman times. If you don't know what a tiger is, I don't know where I'm going with this, but if you don't know what a tiger is and it starts to run at you and, you know, you're going to start running away from it because you don't know, as opposed to, you know, that's not a good example now that I'm saying it. Okay, you're always going to run from a tiger. Okay, let's say that's as a caveman, there is this wolf that is like slightly domesticated, okay, and it just wants to be your friend. But you know that animals in the wild usually attack you, but you've never seen a wolf like this before, but you don't know. So it's not safe and you run away. Had you had just given it some time, moved through the discomfort, you would then have a pet. I don't know if that's how it went down in caveman times and that's how we got dogs, but that's the story I'm spinning right here. So, you know, it's part of who we are. It's part of being human, is having this like protective mechanism of not going into the unknown, not doing things that we don't know the outcome of because it's considered unpredictable. And if you don't know what's going to happen, there's no guarantee of your safety. And however you deem safety, you know, the subconscious mind is viewing everything as life or death. But like we consciously are like, well, I know if I don't win this award, like I'm not going to die, but like it feels like life or death because you're putting that much importance on it. And, you know, the sooner we embrace this, that embrace like the discomfort, acknowledge it for what it is, we can actually use that higher mind, the logical brain, to tell the subconscious that it's okay. We can tell the subconscious that this quote unquote change isn't life threatening. In fact, it could be full of a bunch of positives. So if you're uncomfortable when you are chasing your dreams, just take it as a sign that you're in the right direction. That's why not making changes, not following your passions is called staying in your comfort zone. Literally, it's staying comfortable in change, which is only done with growth, is impossible without discomfort. Because changing and doing something new will literally make your subconscious mind, the, more primal animal part of you, uncomfortable because it cannot predict the outcome. It cannot predict whether or not, you're going to feel safe. It doesn't know whether you're going to get what you actually want out of it. And also think of it like this way too. If you were already the version of yourself who had your dreams and was comfortable in it, comfortable feeling that, comfortable living that life, guess what? It would already be your reality. Simple as that. As soon as you get comfortable in that situation, it is your reality. But to get there, you have to cross through the discomfort. You have to embrace that discomfort and move through it. And you use it as a compass, use it as a map. It's aligning you into that version of yourself who's comfortable in that life already, who knows it's possible for them because they're experiencing it. Alignment is required for manifesting your dreams. It's all about alignment. And getting aligned is changing where you are currently, which is uncomfortable. Do you see what I'm getting at here? So even though we want to stay with what's known because it's safe, it's really holding us back. You can never change if you refuse to do anything different. If you refuse to push through the discomfort, if you refuse to acknowledge the things that you're refusing to do. And to be honest, sometimes change is also inevitable. And if you push off and push off and push off, you're going to manifest, you're going to experience situations that are going to push you forward regardless. You're basically for the really big things in your life, like your life path. And I know it can be difficult because it'll be well, I don't know what my life path is. But if you know that you're feeling this sensation or desire to move forward, but you haven't been doing the work, I'm going to tell you right now that at some point, your higher self, your soul is going to be, working with the subconscious to bring things that are going to make you so uncomfortable that you have no choice but to change. And you're going to have all these opportunities prior to it to make the changes in a more comfortable, it's still uncomfortable, but a more comfortable way. But if you keep ignoring all of the exit signs off the highway, at some point that highway is going to end and you're going to have to take an exit. And maybe that exit you don't really like, but you have to do it because that's the path of the road that you're going on. So, we might as well shift this perspective of discomfort now and learn to embrace it and to work with it before we get shit thrown at us that's really even more uncomfortable. Because I'm telling you right now, I have seen it time and time again, not only with myself, but with friends, with clients, that the more you refuse to do the work, the when, something happens in their life that forces them to either change or to slow down, it's not small, it's very drastic. I'm not trying to scare you here. I think we all know what I'm kind of talking about here is we've all have probably experienced at some point in our life where we just kind of ignored something into a point where we couldn't ignore it anymore. You know what I mean? Things were happening that we could no longer ignore it. And whether that means you got fired from a job, or you got broken up with, or you broke up with someone else, or, you had a ton of bills come in and now you're really struggling, whatever it is, I think we've all had these kind of experiences that I'm talking about here, of where if you think about it and you look back, you could probably see that experience, that really tough one, has a similar lesson to things that you could have learned prior, or maybe there was similar situations that were happening prior in just a smaller way. So, what I'm getting at here is if you're aware that there's discomfort, dealing with it sooner rather than later will always be a better result, because there's going to be less of like a buildup. Think of like a soda can. So if I shook it only a little bit, like, oops, I accidentally dropped it out of the fridge, it's only going to like explode a little bit when I open it. But if I have been like shaking this thing, like, what's that thing in music that you shake? Is it a maraca? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you know what I'm talking about, where you shake it. So pretend I'm like doing that with the soda can, and then I open it. That thing is probably actually going to explode on its own at some point, because it's got so much pressure and it's going to make such a mess. Does this sound like anything to you? Does it sound like fights with people where you literally blow up and then it's a mess and you kind of have to deal with it? That's why knowing the tools and what tools work for you, especially for like shadow work tools and things, that's why it's like really important and really pivotal, because you can use them, because you're aware of like, okay, so when I'm feeling the tension of anger, I can go and take a bath and I'm going to feel so much better. When I start to feel the tingles in my chest of anxiety, like I know I can go and just dance it out and feel so much better. Or maybe like breath work will help you cry and get the sadness out that you feel in your chest. Or journaling helps you gain clarity so you don't feel so lost. Like, when you know what tool works best for you, and then you can even like put it to certain emotions, that's when shifts can happen like so fast. But honestly, you have to you have to try out the different tools. You're not going to know what works for you if you don't try it out. And you also have to notice when you're starting to feel all like tight and wound up, when you are starting to feel certain emotions, and just be like, you know what? Okay, I'm feeling anger today. I'm going to try rage dancing and see how that works. Or I'm going to try taking a bath and see how that works. Or I'm going to try doing breath work with this time and see how that works. Let me see if this helps out. And, you know, you don't want to do something that is suppressing or ignoring it. So like, I'm going to go drink because I'm unhappy. I'm going to go smoke weed because I'm anxious, or like whatever it is. I'm not saying that. I mean, we all know drinking is not good for our bodies. I know that marijuana has a ton of positives, so I'm not saying it's like a bad thing, but if you're using it as like escapism instead of dealing with it, that's where I'm saying like, don't use it in that case. You want to do something that allows you to actually feel what you're feeling, and pushing down is only going to make it louder. So we don't want to do something that is just prolonging the inevitable. So now that you like know that discomfort is just your mind trying to protect you from things it can't predict, doesn't it make it feel easier to just be like, hey, listen, subconscious, listen, mind, I know this is scary, but this is something I really want to do. This is something that excites me. This is something that I know will provide growth. And just like talk yourself through it, like do the damn thing. And like, I'm talking about this discomfort of like when you're chasing your dreams, because obviously the desires we have of ourselves are a different version than the selves we are currently. That's why we have the desire, because we want to grow, we want to change. So just like think about that discomfort and just being like, you know what? I know this discomfort is telling me that I desire to be a different version of myself, which requires me to let things go. It requires me to change. It requires me to let go of limiting beliefs. And all of these things are uncomfortable, but none of them are dangerous. None of them will end my life. None of them will result in death. It is just emotional discomfort, and it is something that I can move through, and it is something I am willing to move through, because I know that my desire is going to be more fulfilling than my current state of being. And, you know, I think that's such a beautiful way to look at the discomfort that comes with chasing your dreams. Because again, discomfort is like our compass. Discomfort is our green light. Discomfort is our map letting us know like, hey, what you're thinking about, what you're desiring is a different version than who you are currently. And to get through there, to get to there, to feel comfortable in that way of being, you have to let go of things that don't align with that don't resonate with that. And I'm not saying like you have to completely change who you are, but it could be as simple as you have a limiting belief that maybe you want to be, let's say you want to be like an artist, and you just have a limiting belief that no one cares to see your art. So that's why you're not doing anything, or that your art just actually isn't any good at all. And obviously, if you're going to be a full-time artist, you have to have the belief and be comfortable being like, people like my art, people pay for my art, people want my art. So if this like initial version of yourself has these beliefs of like, no one cares, no one wants to see what I'm doing, no wonder why the desire is so far from you. Like those are two totally different energies. One of being like, no one cares, and one being like, I have people who are interested in what I do. Is it the whole world? No, maybe not. But is it enough? Is it enough people that help me fill my cup? Is it enough people that help me sustain this as a living? Yes. Do you see the difference? And the way to get from point A to point B is through discomfort, through doing the damn thing, through what they say all the time, feel the fear and do it anyways. Like that's literally how you get from point A from point B. So when you start to embrace the discomfort, that's when you're accelerating your growth. Instead of like pushing it down and holding it back, you're just saying, fuck it, I'm doing it. I understand that things have to go, beliefs have to go, and new ways of being have to come in, and change is uncomfortable because I am human. And it's just the way that my mind is designed to literally protect me from things that I feel are unsafe. And again, the subconscious mind doesn't know whether what you're feeling unsafe about is going to literally kill you or not. All it knows that it feels unsafe, so it's life or death for it. So if it feels unsafe, it means death. You know, even if it's just emotional discomfort, it's not seeing it that way. So become really aware that this discomfort is your key to moving through faster, to growing faster, to manifesting faster, to being the version of yourself you want to be faster. By embracing the discomfort, feeling the discomfort, learning from the discomfort, allowing things to come up and out of your body, and allowing new high vibration thoughts and beliefs and feelings to come into the space. Because don't forget about the laws of the universe. What is this law? The law of a vacuum, I believe is what it is, where like if you are clearing things out, make sure you're putting something back in, something new, something that feels good, something that is in alignment with the version of yourself that you desire to be. Because if you kind of just clear it out and don't put anything in there, the law of vacuum basically states that something has to fill that space that was just cleared. And if you're not consciously putting something else there, your subconscious is going to refill it, and maybe refill it with the same things you were telling yourself prior, which is sometimes why, and I had noticed this as well, sometimes why you're like, what the fuck? I already worked on this. I thought I already worked through this. I thought like I already healed this. Why am I still feeling this way? Why does the same pattern keep coming up? Take a moment to like, look, have you been replacing it afterwards? Have you been telling yourself a new truth after you've done that work before? And if not, start doing that, start replacing it. And if you have, try to look at what you've been replacing it with and seeing if it really is, you know, in alignment with that new higher version of yourself, or if it still has some remnants of the old ways of thinking and being. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you got a little bit something out of it, and maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable about getting uncomfortable. If you did like this episode, hit me up on the social medias. You know, I want to hear what stuck out for you. I want to hear your aha moments. And if no one has told you today, I am proud of you. You're doing amazing, sweetie. And I love you. I love you. I love you. I will see you in the next one.